Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to reflect on the idea of why we as people don't take the advice that we know we should take. Now, before I fully get into it, though, I would like to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you get all the various lessons and episodes that I put out right when I put them out. Thank you if you just did, and thank you if you already were. It truly does mean a lot to me, as I hope it does to you. So, let's get into this. Where this comes from is the fact that many people, whether it's self-help books, whether it's, asking advice from their friends, whether it's taking class after class after class and so forth, many of us are in constant search of this nebulous answer. And rather than ask what's the advice I need, it should really be, why is it that I'm not taking the advice I know I should take? Right? What is preventing you from taking the path that you know? In a weird way, we're in search of this secret sauce, this ease of just getting to the point, the goal that we're after. And we just can't accept the fact that it's not, the advice that we're being handed is work. It just is. Anything worth pursuing, as they say in life, doesn't come easy. Doesn't mean it has to be the most difficult thing in the world, but it requires work. And rather than assign work a positive or a negative, it just is that, right? One of my big things in life is to look at whatever it is you want to be as a verb, right? So you want to be a writer. Well, okay, what's the verb form of that? Well, to be a writer, you have to write constantly, not just whatever, I'll block off a 3-day weekend once a year. It's not how that works, right? Not to allow you to actually complete anything meaningful. You want to give yourself the best chance possible. And a lot of it is fear-based, right? I mean, that's really what it all is rooted in, why we don't take the advice that we know we should, really. And so therapy can certainly be an excellent way to unravel that thread of why I'm not taking the advice that I know I should take. Because that's the thing. In many ways, especially when we ask friend after friend, or even, all these things, podcasts and books and so forth, we're just not satisfied with the answer. And so we feel like there's a better answer somewhere else. And listen, there's tips and tricks, and yes, there are better strategies and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, you got to move forward on something. And even if imperfect in that moment, just taking action today is going to be better than not taking it, right? And, so there is a balance to it all. But at a certain point, you just have to go for it. And even if you mess up, well, guess what? You can revise it. Right? Whatever it may be. And so, really, what I'd like you to do is just to sit with that idea, write about it, consider it. What is that thing that is actually preventing you? What is that fear that is preventing you from taking the advice that you know you should take? Because if you can do that, that will unlock you, right? And, it's not to say you do this once and that's it. This might need to happen multiple times for the same thing. Certainly will need to happen multiple times for different things. But that is the question you need to be asking yourself of, why aren't I taking the advice that I know I should take? That's the better question to ask yourself rather than trying to seek the advice itself. Because that is ultimately, I'm a big advocate of solve the main problem. Solve the problem, don't worry about the symptoms. What's the lever that I can pull that in such a way eliminates 1,000 tiny BS problems? That's what this is all about. And that's why that question of why aren't I taking the advice I know I should be taking is that lever, is that key question to eliminate thousands of other issues and problems. So really sit with that. Don't just, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, okay, and then move on. When you begin to examine the roadblocks in your life, that in itself, as many self-help people will argue, is 50% of the battle. So do it. Or ask yourself, why aren't you? Anyway, that's what I have for you. Thank you as always. I truly appreciate you. If you have any questions or thoughts of your own, please comment down below or hit me up on social media at Svitek. Would love to hear from you. And if you appreciate what I do and think you might benefit from more direct interaction but can't afford the coaching or consulting, that's okay. My Patreon page is available to you. That's patreon.com/PhilSvitek. And there's various tiers there and various rewards for those tiers that you can get. Likewise, if you would like to support me through my art, whether it's my books, movies, merchandise, whatever, all of that is in the description box. Supporting that stuff helps support this because by doing that stuff and getting to experience it, I learn and I can share that knowledge and experience with you to make your life a little bit easier. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'll see you